Breaking news as Jadon Sancho will return to Manchester United. Chelsea will not pay Manchester United £25 million to keep the player, but instead will pay the £5 million penalty fee to Manchester United as Jadon Sancho makes his way back to the club, Manchester United, to look for a new club in the summer. Will he stay at Manchester United or will he be straight out the door? He will be straight out the door. I've already seen people that are massive Sancho fans saying Amorim could give him a chance. He's not done anything wrong under Amorim. He's a quality player. Look what he did in the Conference League final. I.e. Ricky, I'm looking at you. Ricky still messages me to this day saying Jadon Sancho should be playing for our team and he thinks Ruben Amorim might fancy him. Well, I don't think he will. The final nail in the coffin for me was the freedom. The freedom comments I think were super, super disrespectful. Also, being late to train, I think that's one thing we can all agree that Erik ten Hag did right, was how he handled the Jadon Sancho situation, calling out his manager publicly was another instance where I just did not agree with it whatsoever. And also, do you remember the Benny McCarthy interview when he said Jadon Sancho was supposed to be in Manchester but he'd be always down in London? I think Amorim will have seen all of this, and when Amorim massively values behaviour, mentality, the way you conduct yourself. I mean, that's a reason why Marcus Rashford was out the door. It's a reason why Alejandro Garnacho has had issues with Amorim. I highly doubt he's going to bring Jadon Sancho into his squad. Also, there's absolutely no room for him. We've signed Cunha, we're signing, hopefully, Mbeumo. We're starting to get the ball rolling with that deal. And also, Bruno Fernandes is confirmed to be staying at Manchester United and has rejected Al Hilal. There's no room for Jadon Sancho. He will be going. Where he goes is the big question. I have a theory on this one, and I'll tell you my theory in a second. But this is the news coming from David Ornstein. Jadon Sancho leaving Chelsea when contract ends June 30th after agreement could not be reached over personal terms for loan to turn permanent. Chelsea will pay a £5 million penalty to Manchester United. 25-year-old to explore options in England/Europe for the next move. And in this article, it does say Sancho has options in England and elsewhere around Europe. He's expected to explore before making a decision on his next step. I have a theory on this because it came out from sources close to Chelsea that Jadon Sancho was desperate to stay at Chelsea and would take a wage cut to stay at Chelsea. He loves the club, he's a Chelsea fan, and he wanted to stay. We've known, even when he joined United, everybody knew he was a Chelsea fan from when he was a kid. That's where he grew up. So he's playing for his boyhood club, and he regularly gets picked by Maresca. He's not always in the team, but he gets a lot of game time. He's just scored a goal in the Conference League final for them, and he wanted to stay. But apparently they couldn't reach an agreement on personal terms. There's two things here. Either Chelsea offered him peanuts, which I don't think they'll have offered him peanuts, but obviously they're not offering him 350 grand a week that United are offering him. So there's either Jadon Sancho wants to keep his wage, but if he wants to keep his wage, there's absolutely no way that any other club in Europe or in England are paying him 350 grand a week unless he expects Manchester United to use the $5 million fee that Chelsea, the penalty fee that Chelsea have paid, and put it towards his wages to cover them for his next club. There might be that element. He wants to keep his wage and he might think that there's a way that Manchester United can cover it, and he's really hanging on to his wage. But I don't think it is that, because apparently he was willing to take a pay cut to go to Chelsea. That was the news that was coming out surrounding Chelsea sources. How accurate that may be, but that was the news. But my actual theory is I think Jadon Sancho's camp and Chelsea had these conversations, and I think Chelsea didn't want to sign him on a permanent basis. I think they want to go for other players. I think they're very interested in Jamie Gittins. They were interested in him in January as well from Dortmund, and also, they've got interest in Alejandro Garnacho. We know that Chelsea have long-standing interest in Alejandro Garnacho. They've got other players they want to go for the wing positions. I don't think they wanted to keep Chelsea. I don't think they wanted to keep Sancho. I think Sancho's camp and Chelsea might have had a conversation where, look, if you say straight at the end of the season that you are, terminating me, you're paying the penalty fee, and I'm going straight back to United, that's a bit embarrassing, and it's going to make it difficult for us. We've worked well together. He did all right for Chelsea. You know, they had some good moments. I don't think he delivered what a 350 grand a week player should be delivering, but I think for the loan move that they had, and I think for actually 25 million, he was a good player for them. You know, he didn't absolutely tear it up, but he regularly played and they ended up getting Champions League football. I think they came to some sort of agreement that, you know what, end of the season comes, we'll discuss personal terms and then it won't progress and I'll go back to Manchester United, but it's because I didn't accept maybe the contract that you were offering me because we just couldn't agree on personal terms. We just couldn't agree on the contract. When in reality, I think that was to save face. I just don't think Chelsea fancied going for him permanently and they'd rather go and pay the money for a Jamie Gittins or another winger, Garnacho, like I said, and they were never actually going to keep Jadon Sancho, but to save face and save embarrassment, because it is a little bit embarrassing, let's be honest. When a club has an option to buy you for 25 million, but they'd rather pay 5 million, so they'd rather save that 20 million, go for someone else and send you back, it is a little bit embarrassing. And, you know, it also might put you in bad stead when you're looking to go for another club as well. They might be thinking, hang on a second, why did Chelsea not want to go and pay 25 million for you? You know, why should we go and pay that if Chelsea weren't willing to do it and they've had you for a season? Chelsea have got you for a season, but they don't want to pay that. Why should we? Oh no, we couldn't come to a decision on personal terms. I wanted this, they wanted that. I wanted a different challenge. I wanted something new. It's a much easier sell than just, oh, Chelsea didn't want me. It's a much easier sell that we just couldn't agree on personal terms and I fancy something different. That's my theory. I might be stretching, but I've had that theory for a while and I just thought I'd put it out there. Get down in the comments what you think. I would say absolutely he won't be coming back to Manchester United. I tell you what, if Chelsea do sign Gittins from Dortmund, that could be a move for Jadon Sancho. That's always been, you know, a club that's been close to his heart. It's the club that he's delivered his best football at. I think that could be an option for Jadon Sancho. Apparently got offers in England as well. Aston Villa were always linked to Sancho, but I don't think they'll be able to afford it. They're toeing the line with FFP just the same way that Manchester United are this summer as well. So I don't think Villa will go for him. It'll be interesting to see what English clubs actually are interested in Jadon Sancho. But as for Amorim giving him a chance, I really don't think that is on the cards whatsoever. I would say I'm 96% sure that there's no way that Ruben Amorim will reintegrate Jadon Sancho back into the Manchester United squad. And I also think there would be an uproar in the fan base. A lot of people were not able to forgive Jadon Sancho after the way he disrespected Ten Hag, but also the freedom comments were just so out of pocket, so out of turn, and absolutely not what I want for a Manchester United player. Maybe he does just want the money. Maybe he is happy to just try and get the most out of his contract and have the maximum amount of money and not bothered about playing time. It'd be really sad for, I think he's 24, Jadon Sancho, for a 24-year-old player to be more bothered about 350 grand a week than actually playing football. I mean, he had Champions League football there with Chelsea, 25-year-old player. He's 25, going into his prime years. It'd be really sad if he'd be more happy to maybe either hold the bench or, you know, even be out of the squad than to go and play football and take a wage cut. But like I said, I don't think that's the case. I just don't think that Chelsea wanted him. I think he will get a move. I think another club will take him. I think him scoring a goal in that Conference League final will give us a better chance of getting a decent amount of money for him in for him as well. And I don't think United will struggle selling Jadon Sancho. We only realistically need 20 million now because Chelsea have paid us the 5 million. A club out there hopefully will be willing to pay 20 million for Jadon Sancho. But get your comments in down below. What do you make of this? How long do you think Jadon Sancho will be back at Manchester United for? Will we see him on the pre-season tour? That's the last thing I think we need. He has to go before pre-season starts. You can't have him lingering around Carrington, lingering around in the pre-season tour. Manchester United and Jadon Sancho, it's a failed marriage. I would compare it to this. Do you know when people have 30-day marriages or 72-day marriages? For example, when Kim Kardashian, I can't remember what the name of her husband did, had like a 70-day marriage. You're all in love at first, you think it's going to be amazing, but very quickly you realise, actually, you know what, this was a mistake, we need to get divorced. That was Jadon Sancho at Manchester United. Immediately. immediately, we all wanted Sancho. We were all buzzing about it. I thought we were winning it all when we signed Sancho. I thought we signed the next best thing. He was killing it at Dortmund. I still believe there's a very talented player in there. I just think he's maybe suited to a certain style of football that Manchester United don't play. And very quickly, I think we all realised, actually, this probably isn't going to work. And it's definitely best we part ways. But he needs to find a club, and United need to facilitate that move quickly. And he needs to be gone before pre-season, in my opinion. Get in the comments what you think. Hit a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you've not already. And I will see you on the next one.